Elevated Hemp Co., a veteran-owned Texas-based small business offering premium quality hemp products and THCA hemp flower, delivers free and discreet to your door. As a veteran-owned business, Elevated Hemp Co. donates a portion of sales to nonprofits each month to help assist veterans in getting access to alternative medicine. 100% legal and under the 2018 Hemp Farm Bill, Elevated Hemp Co. is the best online hemp dispensary. Follow them on Instagram at elevatedhempco.tx. That's at Instagram at elevatedhempco.tx or elevatedhempco.com. Be sure to use the discount code WRESTLING at checkout for a discount on your very first purchase. Hashtag stay elevated.
This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is the one that everybody wants, me. Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore! Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Hey everybody, welcome to the WWE Podcast. It is Friday, June 21st, 2024, very first day of summer, believe it or not, and we've got a long summer ahead of us, a fun summer ahead of us if you're a wrestling fan, because things are about to explode. We've already seen the debut of the Wyatt 6. We're going to see likely the return of The Rock in the near future. We've got Seth Rollins, who just came back off of injury. We've got, of course, Roman Reigns on the horizon. We've got the potential return of Brock Lesnar. If you're interested in all these big stars returning, we're close. But we're going to talk about this week because you guys talked about this week, and we're going to do that in just a moment. But first, I want to welcome a couple brand new members over at Patreon, Devin Hawkins and Chiwiwi. I'm just going to call it Chiwiwi because I'm not going to say the rest of it. It's a tongue twister. So Chiwiwi, unless that's like one of those names that makes me sound stupid on air. You know how it's like IP Daily or, you ever seen that famous YouTube video where the news anchor ends up, putting out some racist Asian names for a pilot that crashed, and it's like "We Too Low," "Holy Fook." Remember that? Yeah, it's like one of those. So I don't know if you're just messing with me, but if not, cool name. Seriously. All right. Well, you guys can join Patreon if you want at patreon.com and get everything ad free. So let's go to the mailbag. And guys, you guys hammered me with emails this week. I don't know if I'm going to get to them all, but I will say that I also got an overwhelming response to those of you who are interested in SmackDown. All right. So let me give you an update on that. Because as you know, tomorrow is the final show, the 200th show and the final one for Michael Ritter, who has been an asset, an invaluable asset to this show, and just a pleasure to work with. And he is moving on to other ventures, and I wish him the best and thank him so much for all of his support for the show over the years. And I would continue to go support his show over at Football Function if you haven't done so already, and get yourself ready for football season and during all of football season. So. But we have had a overwhelming response to do the open casting call that I put out for SmackDown. I didn't expect it to be so many responses, and I appreciate it. So we have selected someone, though. All right, we've got somebody in the batter's box, and it's Amanda, who has joined us before a few times on the podcast. She's from the UK, and she's going to be covering SmackDown every week for the foreseeable future. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't have other people come in and do different shows, okay? So what I want to do is I might be emailing each of you individually and maybe talking about if you have ideas about a different show or your own take, your own kind of individualized show talking about wrestling. So it doesn't mean that just because we've chosen someone that we won't be able to make you a part of the show. We'll reach out to people individually, so I will say that. But let's get to the mailbag because there's a lot to get to, and see how many I can get through, which, as we already know, is probably not going to be all of them. So let's do here. You know what? Let's go to, oh my gosh. All right, guys, please. I appreciate, guys. I can't, I don't know how to make this any clearer. Please shorten your emails. Please. Because your emails are sometimes I appreciate the passion, but it's too long-winded. And it sounds like I'm being a jerk, but I'm just trying to get everyone a voice on the show and, kind of consolidate your points, and that's just what I would say. It sounds like I'm being a jerk. And hey, if I am, I am. I don't mean to come across like that, but I've said so many times, I'm not your parents, but like, hey, shorten them. All right. It's also better for the listener, right? You don't want to listen to the same email for 20 minutes. You kind of want to go rapid fire, this one to this one, and you want to kind of get to different points. So it's better for everyone. Please shorten your emails. Get to the point. All right. If I haven't lost any of you for saying that, let's go to DJ. DJ, let's do it. You say, hey, AEW and WWE podcast world. After about 5 failed attempts at watching Clash of the Castle in full at different times in the wee hours of Father's Day morning, and mostly dozing off, I finally got to watch Clash on the 6th attempt, and I got to say the show was really good. My only pet peeve was the finish to Drew and Damian in the main event. Did WWE really have to do a ref bump and then CM Punk screwing the finish for Drew? I understand creative is continuing the Drew and Punk storyline, but the ending should have been a clean finish, fair and square, with no Punk interference. Regardless of that, Priest continues to impress me as champion, but I don't see him as a, quote, bad guy as he continues to try to keep the Judgment Day together before Rhea returns. First of all, what happened? You kept dozing off? Or was there something wrong with the stream, DJ? It took you 6 times? It is a weird time, though, and whenever it's overseas, the time difference here for us spoiled fans kind of screws things up for us. But, the ending of that match, it was a ref bump. I mean, we've seen ref bumps a million times. I know it's an overdone finish, but also I appreciate WWE for giving us a little bit of an explanation as to how the hell Punk got the referee t-shirt. That's something Vince would have never, ever done. Ever. Or cared to think about doing. So from that perspective, I appreciate them explaining how the hell Punk even got the shirt and all that, which was shown on Raw. And I understand too, like, look, Punk is a guy that isn't going to be around for long. He's not going to be able to have too many matches under his belt. He is injury prone. He's older, all that. So I don't mind this finish to set up a Drew and Punk rivalry that has already been boiling since before WrestleMania. So now Priest, I've said it before, he's not a heel. Priest is a guy that is a stand-up guy, constantly tells the Judgment Day, I don't need help, please leave me alone, I want to do this on my own. His promos don't run down the crowd. He is very poignant. He's confident. I don't see how Priest is a heel. He's always the peacemaker. He's a leader. Like, what redeeming or non-redeeming qualities does Priest have that we're supposed to resent him for? So it's kind of funny how half the crowd cheered for Punk while the other half booed him, because I assumed he would have gotten heavily booed. Other than that, I was surprised that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn won the tag titles in the triple threat. I wonder if Creative is planning to place Jade and Bianca in the Money in the Bank qualifying matches and have both of them at the event on July 6th, which is literally 2 weeks away. How insane is that? Yeah, that is insane, DJ. By the way, I'm happy at the fact that both Money in the Bank and SummerSlam will resume back to the regular 7 p.m. East Coast start time. I can finally watch a PLE live again. Hallelujah. Yeah, we're spoiled here in the U.S. I will say, as I'll admit I'm spoiled, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm annoyed by how the times have changed for the PLEs. And I honestly am tired of the international crowds. I'm ready to go back to, the traditional U.S. crowds. I know the energy is higher in a lot of these stadiums, but more energy doesn't automatically equal better crowd. We have learned this. I think it's a lesson none of us expected to learn with the overseas crowds, and I'm pissing off a lot of the people overseas. U.S. sucks, we're better. Well, what makes you better? You guys get to sing your own, nursery rhymes? You guys get to sing all of your sports songs that you sing at every sporting event that none of us, if you're outside of your country, understand what the hell you're saying? No. So I'm ready. Again, this is from a U.S. perspective. If you're from across the pond in the U.K., you're saying to yourself, this jerk, the U.S. crowds suck. We're so much better. We bring so much more energy into the building. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure. Again, two different perspectives, and I can respect that, but doesn't change mine, and I'm not going to change yours, but I'm giving it to you straight. I'm telling you what a lot of the U.S. fans won't tell you, right? And we are the foundation for WWE. We are the foundational crowd. We are a traditional crowd, and sure, some of our crowds suck. Oh, God, I mean, some of our crowds are horrific. Some of our crowds are embarrassing. Yes, absolutely. But I'd still prefer a crowd that's mediocre over a crowd that is just loud to be loud, to service themselves on how loud they can be, and then sing a bunch of their Looney Tunes that I don't know what anyone's saying. That's just me. So there goes my international audience. I have a lot of them. So now that I've alienated everyone, whoever's left and still listening to the show, thank you. But hey, DJ, I don't know where the hell I'm going with this. It was weird that Punk, he did get booed, and he got booed pretty loudly. And I think WWE really leaned into them saying there's nothing Punk can do to get him cheered. Let's just give him a kick right in the nuts and not even try to swim upstream and just let's go with the flow. So I think that's what they did. But as far as Bianca and Jade, I'm shocked they lost the belts. I don't want them being opponents yet. I actually think it was way better for Jade specifically, not Bianca. Bianca we know is a single star, and she's excelled in that role. But for Jade, who still needs help in the ring, who still needs, honestly, help backstage, probably. She's still learning the WWE way. She's still trying to improve. Bianca is seemingly a great teacher. They worked well together. They had great chemistry. So I'm very shocked that they had such a short run with the belts. Last and certainly not least, do you believe in Joe Hendry? If you missed it, just watch a short clip of him debuting in NXT this last Tuesday as the crowd loudly cheers for a non-WWE wrestler. Anyway, this is DJ Kuzma signing off. Have a great weekend. See y'all in the Discord chat for Friday Night SmackDown. Okay. I did see this, DJ. I saw the NXT debut for Joe Hendry. The views were off the charts, the highest since WrestleMania season. I have one question, though. Who the hell is Joe Hendry? And some of you, I'm being serious. I have no clue who this guy is. Zero. No idea. I could Google it. I haven't even gotten the motivation to Google this guy yet. I saw his face. I saw the crowd reaction. Have I fallen into such despair as a wrestling fan, or such laziness as a wrestling fan, that I have no clue who this guy is that everyone seemingly knows? And honestly, you probably think I'm joking. I'm not. Who is Joe Hendry? And why did this guy get like a hero's welcome? He got like a Stone Cold return pop, and I'm like, who is this dude? I've never seen him in my life or heard the name. So, that should give you my the range of my knowledge for wrestling, or beyond that. I don't know. All right, thanks, DJ. Let's see here. I'm trying not to. Oh my gosh. Let's go to Darren. I appreciate the very to the point email, Darren. You are the man. All right, he says, "Hey, WWE Podcast family. Finally, the Wyatt 6 debuts, but there were only 5 members. Do you think they will want Alexa Bliss to have her own return to join the group? Or would the 6th member be the spirit of Bray?" Yeah, that's a very good point, Darren. There were only 5. Now, we don't even know the official name yet, right? I think it still hasn't been officially named the Wyatt 6 or the Wyatt CKS number 6. I've seen all these weird spellings. So I don't know if it's actually the name of the group, but if it is, then yeah, they're missing a member. But I don't want Alexa Bliss, believe it or not. Why? They already have a female member in what's her name? Nikki Cross. So they already have her. And boy, you look at Nikki Cross's career, she's gone from like insane to besties to just, abstract irrelevance to the hero's awful gimmick that was supposed to be a hero for kids. And then now she's gone to this demonic character. She has had quite the range of character changes and evolutions over the years, and hopefully this one sticks for her. But I don't know who the 6th one could be. It very, very creatively could be Bray Wyatt as the 6th member in spirit. Very, very clever. P.S. I declared myself for Money in the Bank last week, but not Royal Rumble, because I plan on winning the Money in the Bank and cashing in, so I won't need to be in the Rumble. Well, that's sound thinking, Darren. I think that's very logical. I myself haven't declared yet, but in the coming weeks I'll declare myself for the Rumble. I think I have a better chance of winning the Rumble than the Money in the Bank, because what I can do is just hang out outside the ring. And since there's no rule of how long I have to get into the ring before I'm eliminated from the match, I can just hang out, wait for the final person, hopefully slip in behind them and eliminate them and be the last person standing. So thanks for reminding me, Darren. And I'll look for you on the PLE. You declared yourself, so you're in. All right, let's talk to Hungry Pup, another patron. And Hungry Pup says, "Hey Matt, love the show. 3 topics for this week. Number 1, all rise for Damian Priest. Damian is a great champion. He won me over with his match against Drew at Clash. Great run that I would enjoy even more if Damian would stay heel and rule the Judgment Day like a modern Razor Ramon. It was strange to see him distance himself from Judgment Day and move closer to babyface." Yeah, I mean, I kind of went over this already, so I won't repeat myself too much. But is he a great champion? I think I'll take exception with the word great. I don't think he's great. Great is, of course, very subjective. Great means different things to different people. I would say he's been good and overachieving. Great takes time. And great is a more rarefied air that Damian Priest is not in yet. But I would say he has overachieved, and he's been good to very good. Not great. Big difference for me there. But I can appreciate what you're saying. And the other thing is, too, it seems like Damian is more babyface, as I've said, but he's in a heel group, but he's not really a heel. Now, the people still kind of boo him, but there's not that visceral hatred for him. It's really not. So there could be some kind of ousting by Judgment Day on him. What if the Judgment Day turn on him? I think that's very possible. 2, Seth Rollins is back. Seth is one of my favorite characters, but I was enjoying his time away. Now that he's back, it seems a certainty that Damian Priest's days are sadly numbered. Does this mean Drew missed his shot? No. First of all, Seth Rollins coming back was a surprise to many, and I enjoyed the time away for Seth too, and I think even though it could have gone longer, it was needed, not for just his body and his mind and all of that to repair and recharge, but also for the fans. We need time away from Seth. And we got it. Is it going to be enough? Time will tell. I still think there's gas left in the tank for his babyface run. He still has generally the support of most fans. There doesn't seem to be a movement against him yet. But Seth's been a heel a lot of his career. And I think that could return at some point in the next 6 to 12 months. But we'll see. Now, as far as Seth Rollins claiming the belt, yeah, I mean, I think he's a very heavy favorite to win Money in the Bank and win back the world title. Why? I've kind of already projected this out before, but you have Damian Priest, who at this very moment is scheduled to face Gunther at SummerSlam for the world title. Yeah, doesn't sound exactly interesting, does it? You have heel. They're never going to do that for SummerSlam, right? Seth Rollins versus Gunther is much more interesting. That leaves Damian Priest kind of floundering. But Drew is moving on to Punk. So Drew and Punk are likely going to be ones to face off against one another. Now, could Damian insert himself into the title picture as a triple threat after he loses to Seth at Money in the Bank? He could. And maybe that's the way you go, because I don't know. After he drops the belt likely to Seth at Money in the Bank, Damian doesn't have really a place to go outside of just trying to chase that belt and get it back, which he won't. But maybe that's what they do. But then it's like, well, Gunther gets a shot at the title. How is it a triple threat if it's supposed to be one-on-one, and that's what he earned at King of the Ring? It gets a little messy. But I think they would forego that logic for giving Damian Priest something to do at SummerSlam. Elevated Hemp Co., a veteran-owned Texas-based small business offering premium quality hemp products and THCA hemp flower, delivers free and discreet to your door. As a veteran-owned business, Elevated Hemp Co. donates a portion of sales to nonprofits each month to help assist veterans in getting access to alternative medicine. 100% legal and under the 2018 Hemp Farm Bill, Elevated Hemp Co. is the best online hemp dispensary. Follow them on Instagram at elevatedhempco.tx. That's at Instagram at elevatedhempco.tx or elevatedhempco.com. Be sure to use the discount code WRESTLING at checkout for a discount on your very first purchase. Hashtag stay elevated. So, all right. But I don't think Drew missed his shot, because once Drew is done with Punk, I think you're going to have Drew likely win the world title. Or I'm sorry, once Drew and Punk are done with one another, Punk will probably come out victorious, and then he's going to move on to Seth Rollins, at which point he will likely win it. And I don't know where Drew's going. So that's actually a good question. I said he didn't miss his shot, but Drew could win it at any moment. That's the thing. You know, Drew could win it at any moment. I don't think he's ever out of the conversation. He's never missed it, because he could be in it at any moment and feel like he belongs at any time. All right, number 3, finally, I'm already tired of Braun Breaker. Look, I know this is not fair for me to say. I'm just not into his character. Maybe in the same way that you can't get into Braun Strowman. For the love of God, if WWE pushes another guy that has a spear for his finish, now that I wrote that, I'm secured a Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso Intercontinental title match out of spite. Lastly, did Jade Cargill tap? Yikes. Yeah, that's been the belief that Jade Cargill did tap, and maybe she did. Nothing wrong with that. The ref didn't see it, so there's no loss and blemish on her record, but it is a bit of a moral victory for Shayna Baszler. You know, I don't know if they're going to make too much of a big deal about it, but as far as the spear goes, I'm with you there. The spear is becoming an overused finish with now Roman and Jay, now Braun, among others. I mean, even I think Braun Strowman uses it sometimes. I think there's one or two other people that use it at least as a potential finish. So it's becoming a bit of a kind of the trendy finish right now. But more importantly, if you're not into his character, I kind of understand why. He doesn't have a ton of depth to him other than he's angry all the time. He has a hairpin trigger and he likes to destroy people. Yeah, he's not super interesting, but right now they're building him, right? He's in the building stage. They're trying to figure out who and what he is. Braun Breaker himself is trying to figure out who and what he is. And right now, the element they're focusing on of his character is destruction and dominance. And that's fine. The key, as you're seemingly alluding to, is can they make it more interesting beyond just destruction? Yeah, what are his motivations? What does he love? What does he hate? You know, there's things that you can explore in the character beyond just, I smash things. Me smash, right? We've seen that character. Braun Strowman is kind of a perfect example. That's all he does. Braun Strowman is exceedingly uninteresting for me, because beyond him being big, strong, tall man that likes to pick people up, like, that's it. What is Braun Strowman beyond that? He's suddenly like the moral compass. He's the self-appointed moral compass of the show. I make sure nobody bullies people. Yet he continually bullies and picks fights all the time with the Judgment Day. He's a hypocrite on a weekly basis. So that part of his character is nullified for me. Then you look at him, just all he does is come out there and roar and scream and do his same thing he's been doing for like 8 years. It's very uninteresting to me. But I can also admit there's a spot in a show for a guy like that. He's just not your top guy. All right. Thank you, buddy. Let's go to AJ, another patron. He says, hi all. Last week I mentioned I was watching Monday Night Raw docuseries, and I just wanted to ask, what do you think would have happened if WCW won and how they would have won? I can't imagine Vince would have ever sold the WWE then. Look, Vince would have never sold. He would have gone down into a dying breath. Vince would have never sold, even if his life seemingly depended on it. All right. That was his firstborn child. He would have gone down again until his dying breath. But if WCW did win and he was kind of, no matter what he did, no matter how much he wanted it or whatever, and he just actually lost, What would have happened? I mean, you would have had Eric Bischoff take over. You'd had Ted Turner at the helm. I think wrestling, I mean, really would have been in a bad place because the way, wow, I can't speak right now, but we would have likely seen a really poor wrestling product for quite some time, maybe until another investor or another multi-billionaire wanted to come in and shake things up and, bring wrestling back to its former glory. I think that it would have been a sinking ship. Even if WCW won, I don't know if they would have known how to deal with talent. That was a big problem, which sunk WCW. Their lack of talent management. It was piss poor. On top of creative, on top of just their organizational structure and their cliques and the politics backstage. That's all a cancer to trying to create a successful organization. I don't care if it's wrestling or if it's a Fortune 500 company or whatever. It doesn't matter. They just had no organization. And I think Ted Turner didn't understand wrestling. And he just was looking at it as a capital investment, much more than like I love wrestling. I have a passion for wrestling. I think it would have been bad for the wrestling industry, just generally bad. So it's really good thing that WWE won. No doubt. Thanks, AJ. All right. Let's go to, a patron, James. He says, hey, Matt, I hope everyone is well. You attended Clash. Okay, so after attending, I thought I'd email you about my views of the pay-per-view, or PLE. It's a PLE, James. No, I missed the PPV moniker, too. Apologize if it's a bit long. Well, I'll let this go, James, because you attended. So I have no problem with that, because you attended and you're taking the time to give me in-person notes, which I appreciate. There was a lot of the usual woos, yas and yeets, from both fans inside and outside the venue. Mainly saw people wearing merchandise of Cody, LA Knight, and Jey Uso. I thought it was a really good pay-per-view. I'll say pay-per-view because I missed that. The Bayley versus Piper Niven match and the Triple Threat Tag Team match were good. When Isla Dawn and Alba Fire won the tag titles, unfortunately my expectations for Drew to win drops considerably, as they wouldn't do 2 title swaps on one small card. Yeah, that kind of was your clue that you guys got your title swap you wanted because Isla Dawn and Alba Fire are from Scotland. You got your hometown hero victory, although not the person you wanted. And anybody see that video too of Samantha Irvin saying goodbye to the fans, saying goodnight and thank you for coming and all that. And the fans are booing Samantha Irvin. And she's like, I know it's not the outcome you wanted. She almost had to be apologetic on behalf of the company. I felt bad for her in that. But I'm not slamming on the fans either. You guys were anticipating a Drew victory, and you didn't get it. So I'm kind of neutral on that. I don't really fault the fans. I also, don't really side with Samantha Irvin, because you're in an organization that is constantly telling you that, fan interaction's good, that the fans need to tell us what they want and be loud and all that. So I don't know. Anyway, just an observation, but let's go back to your in-person here. And you say the Drew, Priest, and Cody AJ Styles matches were the best matches of the night. The atmosphere for the Drew match was incredible. Being a 90s and 2000s wrestling fan, it was so good back in the day with no social media. It didn't ruin shock appearances like they do now, so I purposely kept off it. So when Punk did run out, I got to properly experience the shock value. If I would have changed 2 things, would have had to have been Drew come out to Broken Dreams. Everyone in the crowd was so disappointed and shocked when that didn't hit. And also that I didn't get the pop to Triple H's music. Quick note on Raw. I thought it was a great episode with so much happening in terms of story. I liked Braun Breaker versus Sheamus and expected Jey Uso to win the triple threat, James in Scotland. Well, thanks, James. And it seems like you had a good time regardless of these disappointments. And, every time you're at a wrestling event, there's this selfishness that happens. I'm not saying you, Jay. I'm saying just generally. I feel it. I think most fans feel it. They expect the biggest and best moments to happen, that they should happen when you are there specifically, right? You meaning the wrestling fan. When you go, you're like, oh, well, this could happen, or wouldn't that be great if this should happen? And your expectations sometimes are too lofty. And I think that's just kind of comes with the territory of being a fan. It's one of the drawbacks of being a wrestling fan. But when it comes to Drew's music, they're talking about Broken Dreams. Yeah, I was surprised too. I don't know if maybe there was a copyright issue. They didn't want to shell out the cash to the artist of Broken Dreams or whatever. But I would agree that it was I expected that too. And Triple H, post-Mania, he has been everywhere. Up until the last few weeks, Triple H has been awarding this and awarding that and coming out to thank the fans for WrestleMania every week, every moment, handing the belts to people who, he's just been like Mr. He's emceeing everything. And it's nice that Triple H has taken a backseat role for a while. I don't need to see Triple H, but I understand being live. You want to hear it because it's nostalgic to hear his music. You don't really see him that much, if ever anymore, as a wrestling fan. So I get it. But viewing at home, of course, being a different experience, I didn't miss Triple H not being there. So, very good. Thank you, James. Okay, let's go to Freeman. Can we talk about Jade? I see people making a lot of comments on her ability and a few things I feel need to be made clear. First, the wrestlers were warned about the ropes before the match began. We have proof of the refs showing this to the wrestlers before every match. So they knew the risk they were taking when they did the move, and even Bayley chose to use the second rope rather than the top rope to be safer. She could have made the same decision. Yeah, she could have, but, I don't fault Jade for it. She tried. You don't go into it thinking you're going to botch. You go into it thinking you're going to execute. What if she came off the second rope and still botched? It happens. I'm actually defending Jade on this one because I appreciate her trying. And she knew the risk, took a calculated risk, and failed. No, that's okay. It's okay. She didn't get hurt. Did it look bad? Of course it did. Did the announcers try to cover for her? Yes, as they should have. Again, she didn't do anything that she shouldn't have done. She just rolled the dice and lost. That's all. She'll probably think twice about that move again. You probably won't see her do that again. But, don't fault her for it. Second, the ropes had nothing to do with her tapping out, falling over during the split kick, or moving Dawn into the position like she is working a warehouse. These were just a straight-up botch, and the tapping is very hard to defend, and that was a choice, not an accident. And from what Shayna said on Raw, it seems like they are keeping the event in kayfabe, but we all know it was a botch. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be a thing. She just did it not knowing that it was I know what you mean. She was doing it, but not really doing it to say I'm tapping, because usually that's a heel thing. You tap, the baby face has the heel in a precarious position in a submission hold. The heel is tapping, but the referee doesn't see it. So this very well could be a botch, Freeman. You could be right. Could very well be right. But they're going to keep it in story, and they should, because the announcers also brought it up while they were watching the show in real time. Third, yes, Priest, Styles, and Zayn also botched because of the ropes, but they don't have multiple botches per match or all the matches leading up to this one. At some point, we need to stop making excuses for her and just accept that she shouldn't be at the very top of the card. I'm split on this, right? I'm a big supporter of Jade Cargill. I'm still not a fan of, at the beginning when she was more sizzle than steak, meaning she was just constantly relying on her photos and look at my body. How great is my body? Oh, did you check out my body? Very much relying on that. And I was worried that we were going to get the 5 moves of doom that John Cena had, very limited in the ring. And she's had some decent matches. And I think overall she's shown improvement. So there is that. But there have been wrestlers who have not been good in the ring that have gotten top billing and been top guys. Want an example? Ultimate Warrior. Horrible in the ring. Very limited. Top guy. The company is synonymous with the Ultimate Warrior. Hulk Hogan. Very limited in the ring. Very. When even in his heyday. Very limited in the ring. Shorter matches. Hulk Hogan is not a wrestler's wrestler, and yet top guy, if not the most well-known name in all of professional wrestling since its inception. So, you don't need to be great in the ring. Chyna, another woman, Now, I know this was before the women's revolution. Not very good in the ring. Not very smooth in the ring. So you can still be a big star. The thing is, today it's evolved into what makes a great wrestler great, and that is great wrestling matches, which is nothing wrong with that. So I think the expectation has changed in terms of what makes a wrestler great. But the crowd still reacts to her. Then the wrestling is coming second, and that's just what it is. The thing is, she has a look that deodorizes a lot of her issues. The question is, how long can that last before the fans start to boo her? Which will happen if it continues down this path. Because, the fans are now looking at Jade, and her image is being tarnished a little bit by, oh, she's the woman that botches. And now people are putting her under a microscope. And, oh, was that a little botch? There's a botch. So now there's even more pressure on Jade, and now it's a big vicious cycle, right? So she's maybe more anxious to prove people wrong, which makes her more amped up, which results in more botches, which results in people calling, so it's this big thing, right? So we'll see how Jade responds. I'm not making excuses for her, but we also have to understand that she's still a star in the making. Why do you think she didn't have a one-on-one match at WrestleMania? She was nowhere near ready. Putting her with Bianca was a great way to split the workload, have her learn, sit into that lovable learning tree. And now they split them up. And I don't know the logic behind that, but we'll see. Let's see. Last point is she falls apart at the slightest botch. We get it. A bad segment happened or something was clunky. But whenever this happens to her, it goes to her head. And we get a botch after botch from that point onwards. Other performers with more experience just carry on despite it to give us the best match. Not just look like a lost child in the middle of the ring. I've got no issues with her being a performer on the card. Some people perform worse than she does. The difference is I'm not being told that they're the ultimate future of wrestling. WWE needs to build talent naturally and not tell us someone is the best when they aren't. Yeah, I would agree with that. Sometimes they insult our intelligence. There's been times, even in the Triple H regime, that they've done that. The announcers are famous for that. They'll forego insulting our intelligence for just telling us that someone's the greatest when clearly they're not. But the thing is, they see Jade as a future women's world champion. They see her as a future Hall of Famer in the women's division. They view her as a future top talent. And so they're going to try to tell us right now that she is headed that way when, our eyes are telling us differently in the ring. So, that's just kind of been the way WWE pushes talent all the time. You see a screw up or everyone's the greatest. Everyone pushes everyone to the limit. It's just nonsense a lot of the time. You need to sift through it. But yeah, this is called learning experience. Jade clearly needed to learn a lot coming from AEW. And she's still in the process of learning. And, that's just the way it's going to be right now. Thanks, Freeman. All right. Let's go to, my gosh. I'm trying to go to another patron here. Let's see if I can get to another patron because I almost went to somebody not a patron, but let me click to the inside of Patreon. I keep forgetting you guys message me on Patreon directly. Oh, Retribution, by the way. Thank you for Jeffrey T. Retribution was the name of the group that had the chainsaws and cutting up the ropes and destroyed the arena during the pandemic era. So thank you. All right, let's go to Shahar. And by the way, love the picture with Sharon. So Shahar and Sharon, they look like a tag team. You guys come up with some kind of name. Your names are very similar, at least the first half of your names. So there's got to be some kind of, some kind of clever name there. I'm just not clever enough to think about it. All right. So here's what Shahar says. Here's my thoughts about recent events. Number 1. Clash at the Castle. Yeah, it was really cool to watch it with Sharon and other people in the bar. It was the first time I'm watching WWE with other people since my husband is not a fan. So I usually watch it alone. Sharon and I did mention your name here and there in the context of Matt was so wrong about CM Punk not coming to Scotland, or I wonder what Matt will say about Cody hitting AJ with the steel stairs. We can't trash talk about your podcast. We both love it and appreciate you very much. Well, thank you. And hey, I'm wrong a lot. I don't pretend to sit here and be some kind of Nostradamus when it comes to wrestling. I'm often very wrong. And it's because even if something logical is in my brain, there's a million ways to go creatively. which is great about a product that you can manufacture and mold to your liking. There's more than one way to do it. And oftentimes Triple H and creative have different views than I do. So yeah, I mean, I was totally wrong about CM Punk going to Scotland. I still have my doubts about why they did it the way they did it. I still, even watching it, I go, why? You know? So I was totally wrong on that front. But, you know, I'm going to be a lot more wrong, you know, down the road too. So, all right, let's continue. Number 2, I hope Drew quit just to appear on SmackDown and beat the hell out of Punk. Number 3, I just don't get Jey Uso qualifies at the expense of Finn Balor. I was sure Finn is winning Money in the Bank just to cash in on Damian and start their feud with each other. Well, don't forget Shahar. He could still be there. A lot of times they have these second chance qualifiers. So maybe if you're looking for him to still be involved, he still could be. So how about that? And number 4, can Rhea Ripley come back already? Boy, aren't we waiting? SummerSlam could be a way, or the time frame in which she comes back. I think SummerSlam is a good place to start, because I think at that point Dom will be fully invested back with Liv Morgan. And what does Rhea do? Not just chasing Liv Morgan for that belt, but for taking her man and, taking everything from her. So Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley are on a collision course, and that's putting it lightly. Rhea Ripley is an instant, automatic top babyface in the women's division upon her return. And I think it should happen after Liv Morgan retains at maybe SummerSlam. And then you have, Dom in there making out with Liv, and Rhea Ripley's music hits as they're making out. That's what I would do. But till next time, my friend, thank you. All right, let's go back. I think we're done with the patrons. I've gone through almost everything. Again, I got a lot of emails about people wanting to be the SmackDown host. I'll reach out to some of you individually, and we'll talk about some other options. Let's go to Steve. The negative comments. Steve D. The negative comments I've seen in the Wyatt family debut from Raw has been related to there being no connection to Bray or Uncle Howdy other than Eric Rowan, and that WWE needs to do a full backstory on how each of them got pulled into the family. If not, when the mask comes off of everyone's going to be asking, why is Nikki Cross there? Wasn't she just aimlessly walking around the area last time we saw her? Yeah, that's what she was. Remember, she just like staring into the abyss. Yeah, she was. She's been, like, as I mentioned earlier in the show, she's been through some weird iterations of character. I look at the cast of characters and automatically think Uncle Howdy has recruited wrestlers that were almost on their way out the door, desperately in need of character refresh, or basically a group of outcasts. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You can, but why not try to, find something that out of nothing? Nothing wrong with giving talent a second, third, fourth, fifth chance if it all works out. But, we haven't even had anything explained yet. So, I mean, the fact that they haven't done a backstory yet, I mean, they have had no time yet. I mean, we just saw them basically murder half the production staff, shoot, Chad Gable in the head, which somebody actually said to me, it wasn't a gun. He could have been hit in the head. As if I was being serious that they actually used a gun. What? Come on. Somebody said that to me. I forget where I saw that. Anyway, it might have been on Spotify or something. A lot of interesting comments there. Okay. Using that path, I think they could use the segment that closed out Raw to say it was not a little massacre, but more an outward portrayal of an image or a dream of Uncle Howdy's, what he sees coming. Then you could have Chad and Braun as part of the Wyatt family for a while, begin to set free or reborn as new characters, or someone with a new and different outlook going forward. I hope it's not a dream that we saw. That would be kind of too many levels of remove from reality, because then it's like, okay, everything that we see with them, is it not real? And also, we saw them walk out on stage, and was everyone in the arena dreaming it? And how did the cameras get into a dream? Like, you're going into weird levels. It can't be a dream. You just can't do it. Now, the house, what was it? What was that match that Bray Wyatt had with John Cena at WrestleMania? The WrestleMania no one saw it, WrestleMania 36. That was a acid trip on an acid trip. I hated that. I know a lot of people loved it, and that's fine. It's not my cup of tea. I hope it's not something like that. But yeah, I think the angle is going to be interesting. Does Chad get involved directly? I hope he doesn't. Not yet, because he's still got things to finish up with Otis. The idea he was going to join the Creed brothers and then Otis was going to, use Akira Tozawa and there'd be some program there and Maxine would, there's a lot still there that's untold. So that was weird that Chad, who's just heating up with an angle with Otis, got kind of sidetracked into this random angle with the Wyatt Six. Weird. But Braun Strowman, what does he do? Hey, I'd rather have Braun Strowman involved in this than just deciding to bully around the Judgment Day every week with no reason. I mean, he has picked a fight with the Judgment Day every week since his return. So, thanks, Steve. All right. Let's, oh my goodness. All right, Dino, we're going to abbreviate. We're going to abbreviate your email here. I have to do it. So, because you sent not only one, but two. You put two emails, Dino. I gotta abbreviate this. So let's go. Let's see. I know you have a Clash in the Castle. This is an in-person review, so I'm gonna give you some time, but it's just for the interest of time, and I've got a voicemail or two to get through. I'll abbreviate for you. All right, let's go. So Cody defends against AJ in 27 minutes, which was a good match. I also predicted 25 minutes, so not far off. Yeah, you get pretty good. The Unholy Union shocked the world by winning the world's tag titles, women's tag titles. I thought the Unholy Union had a very good show, a very good showing, 10-minute match. I predicted 12, so you're not far off. Let's see. Sammy, you retained as you predicted in 22. You predicted 20, so only 2 minutes off. Bailey retained, as we know, and you use that as your bathroom break. Let's see. Bailey retains in 13. You predicted 12. Finally, we have our Drew McIntyre being screwed by the legend CM Punk. I was part of a 5 or 10% minority who was happy this happened after Drew got up and in the lead up to the Saturday night. But let's see. We're going into Drew. Oh, Drew is a Rangers fan, and I obviously support the rival team Celtics, so I was among the minority that went home happy with how it turned out in the end, especially seeing Punk troll Drew by being pictured in the Celtics store, buying team's top, and then later seeing him wear one. All right. All in all, I'm going to rate the show a B+. I was struggling with the post-show blues. Yes, that's really a very real, I can assure you, until after Raw on Monday, funnily enough. I don't know about B+. I'd say B. B- for me. Quick response to you last week. Gallus and the Wolfgang, Wolfie, Joe and Mark Coffey, who are a Scottish heel group currently in NXT, and they're very good wrestlers who, in my opinion, deserve to be on the main roster. Joe Hendry's a Scottish wrestler in TNA and showed up in NXT in the Battle Royal this past Tuesday. He's also really good and so over it's unreal. I personally can't wait for him to be full-time and be a star here. Oh, he's a Scottish wrestler. Well, I just asked who the hell he is. Never heard of him in my life. Okay, he's a Scottish wrestler. All right. I mean, I'm giving him a chance. I don't know. I just didn't know what all the fuss was about. All right. So I'd like to say thanks for moving the mailbag to Friday. It gives people like me, for example, who is busy this week with a show on Saturday and editing during the week, to react to Monday Night Raw and a chance to send in emails. My vlog of the show is up on YouTube, where you can check out some of my YouTube shorts that I shot during the show Saturday. This gives the chance of what it felt like to be there in person. Let's see. So, what is your Twitter? Or what's your X? I don't know. I was going to give you a shout out and give you a chance to give the links. You didn't do it. I don't know what they are. Dino, what are they? What are they? I don't know. Let's see. So also a suggestion. Why don't you scrap SmackDown review after next week, since you'll have the chance to, as Michael Ritter is moving on, and replace it with the current state, which you basically do a review of SmackDown. Well, I haven't done the current state in a few weeks, so I can't do that. We're trying to pump out as many shows as we can, but I appreciate this suggestion. All right. I see all your other suggestions too. my schedule and other people's schedules, we're really trying to stay on schedule because people sometimes are looking for the show on a certain day, and we really do try. So we're going to continue to try to stay on the schedule that we have. All right. So, let's go to, I think we got a voicemail here. I think we do. Yeah, I've got one voicemail. So how about we get one voicemail, then we're going to call it a day. And here we go.
Alex, the French guy here, your European champion. It's been a hot minute. I didn't send a voicemail on the podcast. I hope everybody's fine. I didn't have the occasion to come back about Backlash. It was a great show. We tear the house down. It was really nice. We chanted all along. I know for a lot of you didn't understand. You didn't understand the song that we were chanting and everything, but that's actually like a French, not a classic, but a very popular French song. He is phenomenal, la 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 la. That's one of them. And Simply Two is a reference to French commentators that are very popular in France and made WWE much more popular. I heard that Clash of the Castle beat us in terms of gross profits, so revenue tickets. I'm not surprised, even if the price of the tickets in Backlash France was horrendous. It was very expensive. My place was pretty nice. It was not ringside, but a little bit just behind ringside. And for both shows, I paid around $1,000, like $1,000. And yeah, that's really, really expensive. But outside of that, Raw is absolutely amazing these days. SmackDown, I don't watch SmackDown anymore, really. Like, I watch some recaps and everything, as much as I like SmackDown, but Raw is on a whole nother level. What will happen with Chad Gable and this faction? Now, spoiler alert, Daddy has been taken out by the Wyatt Six. Historically, with The Fiend, when a character is being taken down, he has a character change. I hope it's not the case for Chad Gable. And if it's the case, I hope he's getting even a better character. They also took out Braun Strowman. Character-wise, it's a plus for him because he doesn't have any character development. And yeah, Drew quitting Raw. That's completely crazy and also logical for him because he's being screwed all over again. So not surprised. The only surprise I would be is if it's really the case and if not storyline wise. And that's great for me to have this doubt that it's not just a storyline. So yeah, Raw must watch TV. Bye guys.
Alex, good to hear you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. I'm glad you explained the chance. Any kind of context you can give us who are sitting in the States going, what? Now, explaining it doesn't really make it any better from our experience because we're sitting there still going, yeah, even if we understand why you're chanting it doesn't resonate with us, right? Just like our culture here doesn't resonate with you. The things that we like and know here and chant here, a lot of it may not resonate with what the crowds overseas do and say. So it's just a difference of culture, and that's okay. But it's also acceptable to realize and understand that those who are watching a product that have nothing to do with the chants that are going on or care or know, or even if they know, don't care, just the way it is. It's life. So anyway, Drew quitting, I think it's a setup. Drew didn't quit. Obviously not in real life, but even in kayfabe, he didn't quit. It's a setup to humiliate Punk is all that is. It's a setup to, put Punk in a situation where he could attack Punk and, set up a match between those two, likely at SummerSlam. Thank you, Alex. And I lied. We have one more. I think this is a quick one from Kyle. So we'll close out with Kyle. Let's go.
Hey, it's Kyle from Baltimore. I wanted to, it's been a while since I called, but, been busy and whatever. But anyway, I wanted to talk about Liv Morgan and her role so far since becoming champion. I'm enjoying it. I've always been a Liv Morgan fan. I think Liv has been great. She reminds me of what AJ Lee did, honestly, in 2012, when she was the most interesting character in the women's side beforehand, and before when was treated seriously. And Liv is challenging that's what the word. She's doing the same thing that AJ's doing, and I can't wait to see her and Selena. I think Liv just being in the ring with other people who are kind of equally the same height as her, it'll be a better matchup. Rhea Ripley is kind of like accepted to the role because they also have great chemistry, but whatever Liv is doing is cool, and her and Selena's have a great match. I mean, big possibly, and intrigued what's going to happen with the whole Dominic, Liv, Judgment Day thing, where that's going to go. I have no idea, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. But that's my 2 cents. I wanted to just talk about Liv. I think Liv is doing a great job, but I can't wait till Money in the Bank, and I am happy that Seth is back too, by the way. Side note there, but that's it. Thanks for the call. Bye.
Kyle, what's going on, buddy? Been a while, and hope you're well. So Kyle is saying, hey, Liv Morgan has found herself, and I would agree. Liv Morgan is in a place that she has never been, and that's better than in her career than right now. She has found who and what she is. This sweet spot of this character is exactly what is working for her, and it's enjoyable. Kind of this seductress, but also finds a way to win. She's champion. She's taking another woman's man. All of this. She's on a tear, and I love it. She's found herself, and I think it's a really good thing, and it's going to be really fun to watch and see what the ultimate outcome is, which we know is, of course, Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the women's world title at probably SummerSlam or maybe the PLE after. So that's likely what we're looking at, and I think we've got a lot of good stuff to look forward to as we head into SummerSlam season. We're right around the corner, guys, unbelievably. So, all right, that'll do it for me, guys, on this mailbag version of the show. I appreciate all of you calling in, emailing, as we do every week, and we can close out the week here. We've got the final SmackDown review show by Michael Ritter on Saturday morning, and then we've got the Week in Review on Sunday. And then before you know it, we're into Money in the Bank, which is only like 2 weeks away. So thanks, everybody, for listening. Consider going to our website, www.podcast.com. You go VIP, or you can go to WWE Podcast on Patreon and get everything ad-free there. Or you can go to Apple and get everything ad-free. Lots of ways to get rid of those ads you heard throughout the show. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Take care. Elevated Hemp Co., a veteran-owned Texas-based small business offering premium quality hemp products and THCA hemp flower, delivers free and discreet to your door. As a veteran-owned business, Elevated Hemp Co. donates a portion of sales to nonprofits each month to help assist veterans in getting access to alternative medicine. 100% legal and under the 2018 Hemp Farm Bill, Elevated Hemp Co. is the best online hemp dispensary. Follow them on Instagram at elevatedhempco.tx. That's at Instagram at elevatedhempco.tx or elevatedhempco.com. Be sure to use the discount code WRESTLING at checkout for a discount on your very first purchase. #StayElevated.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.